Being in a relationship can be one of the best feelings in the world. The feeling of knowing that there's someone there by your side, facing the world's problems with you. Knowing that you're not alone, and at the end of the day, you have somebody who's got your back no matter what. Even when you might be wrong, they're still there, backing you up. Unfortunately, there are people out there that don't see relationships in that way. These people see it as a one-way relationship and one way only, their way. And then you get the occasional one that just wants the relationship for what they can get out of it. Never mind looking out for you and your best interest. They're only looking out for themselves and what they can get you to pay for. These are the users of the world. And sometimes they can come into your life looking like a promising companion, but eventually their true agenda becomes apparent. Sadly, I've experienced this firsthand. I wasted a lot of time thinking that this person would change, but they didn't. It's the same old manipulations and lies. But now I finally see it for what it really is. My name is Bobby, and today I'm bettering myself by realizing I deserve better. Have you ever gotten the feeling that someone cares more about what you can offer them than they do about you? When someone is using you, it means that they're manipulating or taking advantage of you for their own benefit. In some cases, the individual being used may not recognize the pattern until long after the behaviors first start. On other occasions, the individual is keenly aware that they have been manipulated for another person's gain right away. Past relationships, sometimes even back to childhood, can play a role in adult relationship dynamics. For instance, people who have grown up in positive family climates may be more assertive and therefore less likely to be taken advantage of. Sometimes it's easy to spot the signs that someone is using you, but in other cases, this behavior might be much more subtle. While everyone's circumstances are different, these are some of the signs that I've recognized that someone may be using you. Number 1, the person asks you for money, favors, and other items. For instance, they may ask you to lend them money or pay their rent. Number 2, the person imposes on you without consideration for your availability and preferences. For instance, they may move in with you unexpectedly and not have the respect for your personal belongings, and then piece by piece destroys them all when the two of you fight. Number 3, the person expects you to take care of their needs. For example, if you go out to dinner with them, they may not offer to pay and simply expect you to pick up the tab. Number 4, the person appears disinterested in you after their needs have been met. For instance, you bought them dinner and expect them to be at least somewhat affectionate at some point during the night, but they're not, and pretty much act like you're not even there. Number 5, the person is only affectionate or intimate with you when it's convenient for them. For instance, they may be affectionate towards you until they get what they want. Number 6, the person doesn't make an effort to be there for you when you need them. For instance, even if they know that you're going through something that's physically and mentally traumatic, they'll still try to make you feel worthless. Number 7, the person doesn't listen to you. For instance, the relationship must be on their terms. Never mind your feelings, they don't want to hear them. Number 8, the person is only in touch when they are feeling down. For instance, they've hit rock bottom and no one else will help them. Then they call you and try to get your help using pity. And number 9, they're dishonest. For instance, they will tell you what they think you want to hear and then do the complete opposite behind your back. And a little bonus to that is that if you question them, they try to turn it around and make you feel like you did something wrong. It's totally pathetic. The signs that someone is using you may vary depending on the nature of the relationship. A friend who is using you may only want to do things together at their convenience. They may expect you to listen to them, but not be willing to hear what you have to say. In a relationship, being used might involve selfishness and disinterest in your needs. It never feels good for someone to take advantage of you. It can make you feel poorly about yourself and take a negative toll on your relationship. It can also make it harder to trust other people in the future. So what can you do to avoid being used? Well, first, you can set boundaries. This is something I really wish I had done in the very beginning. And setting healthy boundaries is a great way to start protecting your mental health and ensuring you're not being used. Secondly, work on your self-esteem. Working to build self-compassion and recognizing your value can also help limit the possibilities of being taken advantage of in your relationship. And third, seek guidance. A mental health professional, mentor, or someone that you look up to can also be helpful as you work toward creating healthy boundaries. I'm certainly not saying that you should feel resentful about doing favors for a friend, a spouse, or a significant other. If someone you love or care for needs an occasional leg up in finances, some practical help, or they call it odd hours because they're feeling down, those are things we do for our friends, family, and loved ones without a second thought. I'm just saying that you should pay attention to these red flags as they multiply over time. If you feel the balance of the relationship has shifted too far in the direction of your partner, and you're the one making all the running, it's definitely time to take an overview and reevaluate where you stand. And that's exactly what I did. I know my value, and I know my worth, and I know that I can offer a lot in a relationship. But the other person has to meet me halfway, or at least show some effort that they are trying to meet me halfway. Oddly enough, there are some people out there that are content with being used. They know that the other person is using them, and it doesn't bother them. These types typically have very low self-esteem and tolerate being used in order to keep the user in their lives. I'm not one of those. Once I finally saw clearly that I was being used, that was it. I wasn't going to let this person manipulate me for another second. I wasn't going to let this person ruin relationships for me in the future when I do meet the one who wants to be with me for me and not what I have. The next time, I'll be much more wiser than I have been. I'll know what to look out for, and I'll certainly recognize the signs of a potential user. Remember, you deserve just as much from a relationship as you put in. Don't let yourself get undercut in any way. It's not worth it. They're not worth it. It may hurt, and it may hurt for a while, but getting that leech out of your life in the long run will give you empowerment. Thank you so much for joining me today, and we will see you next time. Be sure to hit that subscribe button to be notified when new videos are posted.